Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam Gurur-brahma Gurur-vishnu Gurur-devo Maheshwaraha Guru-sakshat Param Brahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavat Padam Shankaram Lokashankaram Sarva Vedanta Siddhanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Sadgurum Pranatosmyaham Asmat Guru Charana Ravindabhyan Namaha. Okay. So, last week I had taken a break because we came to a technical topic and I was not prepared for taking that. Hopefully I am better today, but it's a very technical topic and let us spend some time because the only way to logically understand this is using this particular principle. Okay, so Lakshana Pramanabhyam Vastu Siddhihi. There is nothing in your book. Don't try to search for it. Lakshana Pramanabhyam Vastu Siddhihi is one of the very important tenets of Nyaya Shastra. So Nayayikas have this particular tenet. Lakshana Pramanabhyam Vastu Siddhihi. If there is anything which is a Vastu, you are able to understand it only by its Lakshana or Pramana. Vastu becomes Siddhi. If there is no Lakshana or there is no Pramana for it, such a Vastu doesn't exist. Period. For example, they give Shashi Shringaha. So, horn of a rabbit. So there is no Lakshana for it, there is no Pramana for it. It is purely imaginary. So there is no Vastu like this. It should have a Lakshana, it should have a Pramana. Either of it should have. Then, because only when Lakshana and Pramana is there, you can communicate. Only when you communicate, you can transfer this knowledge from one person to the other. Because only through pramana knowledge can be transferred. Which are the pramana? Pratyaksha pramana, anumana pramana, upamana pramana, arthapati pramana, anuvilabdhi pramana, shastra pramana. Okay, that is why lakshana pramana bhyam vastu siddhi. That should have a lakshana. If nothing is there, at least the basic pratyaksha pramana will work. If you don't know anything and if I show you something, that object which is perceived by the eye will give you lakshana, and through that pramana of pratyaksha pramana, the vastu will be understood. At least this is a vastu, correct? No. The same thing holds true for Atma and Brahman. They are vastus. So only with lakshana and pramana, otherwise how will I transfer this knowledge called Atma to you? Right? You first objectify it, then you say you are the subject. Okay. Because Tattva-bodha, what is the start? Tattva-bodha shloka, what is the start? Vasudevendra yogindram natva mumukshunam tattva-bodho vidhiyate. Okay. Then after that what? The next shloka. Tattva-bodho vidhiyate. Anyway, let me open it.
साधन चतुष्टायां संपन्नाधिकारिणां साधनं तत्त्वविवेक प्रकारं वक्ष्यामः.
What is tattva-viveka prakaram? What is
knowledge of tattva?
Tattva-viveka prakaram. Read that whole thing fully. Moksha sadhanartham tattva-viveka
prakaram vक्ष्यामः.
How to make an enquiry about the tattva?
Okay. Yeah.
Correct. So tattva is a object.
Right.
If that is not, if that principle cannot be transferred as an object to you first, then it is considered to be, no, it is a subject. Otherwise the problem will be that how will it can be transferred at all? The knowledge cannot be transferred. Clear? Okay. So we know very clearly that now this vastu called Atma and Brahman, because now Tattvamasi, that is this. So that is something, this is something. Yes or no? So that and this has to be now proved as Lakshana Pramanabhyam as Vastu. And then what is the proof? Both these Vastus are one. Because now you are using the intellect to prove it. So you are separate, that are two separate, and as principles you will prove it. Then you will internalize it that it is me and no one else. Are you able to get that? There is a process to it now. So, when it comes to Lakshanas, and Nyayas are, Nayayikas are very strong when it comes to definitions. They will implement all the definitions to the last, and if anywhere it doesn't fit, they will throw you out. So Vedanta, all your Vedanta principles have to fit perfectly in Nyaya. Otherwise they will take it and throw it off. They will not even accept you. Now here the objective for, see, earlier he has talked about Brahman, he has talked about Atma, and then he said these two are same. Now he has to logically prove that these two are the same. Why? Tomorrow a Nayyayika comes and challenges it, and if you cannot prove, then it is your imagination they will tell. If you cannot prove, that means you are not convinced that that is it. Both are same. If both are same, you should be able to prove it in the logic, in the way the definitions are. Are you able to get this? And hence he puts this particular Jahat Lakshanam, Ajahat Lakshanam. Two things are among the Lakshanas, the various Abheda Lakshanas and Lakshanas which are there. Jahat Lakshanam and Ajahat Lakshanam is an important one. So we will spend some time to understand what is Jahat Lakshanam, what is Ajahat Lakshanam, and then what is Jahat Ajahat Lakshanam. I have not started. उसका पहला डाउट आ गया. बोलो.
So Guruji, when you're talking about Lakshanam, it means characteristics, right?
हाँ.
So haven't we learned the Atma's characteristic that it is, it is ever present, it's everywhere, all that, we know all the characteristics, right? Similarly for, this is Brahman. Same way we have proved that, once we remove all the layers and, the subtlest of subtle, so we are Atma, which is nothing but, the RC, the body, and then we have the OC, and so this is equal to that because that is what is ever present. So when you talk about this what other Lakshanam are we talking about here? That like what is it that's the part I'm not clear.
So normally what happens is when you have a dispute, you go to the court and you are represented by a lawyer. You being one of the who has put the case, you know very clearly with all the logics clearly it is 100% that you will win. Because everything is for fitting in that, right? Do you still go to the court and because who is the person who knows everything maximum about this subject? You or the lawyer? You know it, correct? So you should actually go and fight it in the court. Why do you keep a lawyer? What does a lawyer do? He takes all the information from you as how you normally would fight it in case you are the person who is supposed to fight it in the court. Then he will break it into steps and make his plan of how, then referring to certain sections, that section, this section, which you are not aware. And then he will put it across and then, okay, the end result will still be the same. So these Nayyayikas have to be taught it in the way which they will understand the rule of the same thing what you have told now. So now we are going to put the same thing into a proper format, which is logically proving it. Okay. For example, when I know 5 plus 2 is equal to 9 minus 2, you know it. Why? Because you know what is 5 plus 2. Because you know what is 9 minus 2. But if you go and teach a small child who does not know subtraction, you will have to explain what is 5 plus 2. You will have to explain what is 9 minus 2. Otherwise, that child will say these two are wrong. Correct? And then once the child understands it in the way the child has that knowledge, on that you will build on it, then the child applies the logic and says, yes, it is correct now. So now we are going to develop that logic of proving what we have proved. How to prove it logically. Clear? So now there are two types of Lakshanams which is called Jahat Lakshanam and Ajahat Lakshanam. What is Jahat Lakshanam? Jahat comes from the root word he. He, Jahi is the word. So that which is not there. It means that which is not there. Don't listen, don't think, understand the concept, because now I am putting a principle in front of you. Just understand the principle, don't analyze or evaluate. So Jahi means which is not there. Jahat Lakshana means that which is not there. Okay. And we will see the examples now. That means whenever we are using Jahat Lakshanam, whatever is mentioned, you will see that that is actually not there. That Vachyartha doesn't fit at all. The implied meaning is something different. It's got nothing to do with what is told. Okay. For example, when we are all sitting together and we are all having coffee together, suddenly one more person comes there and we offer, why don't you have coffee? And the response of that person is, I just had 2 cups and came now. What did he say? I just had 2 cups and came now. So I don't need. His statement is, I just had 2 cups and came now. So I don't need. What did you understand? He doesn't need coffee. Why? Because he has had 2 cups. No, he didn't have 2 cups. He had 2 cups of coffee, leaving the cup out. The moment you say he had 2 cups of coffee, it will mean he had 2 cups also, and he had the 2 coffee content in the 2 cups also. Now you understand how Nyaya will work. So the moment you will say that I don't need, I already had 2 cups, or I already had 2 cups, that is the Vachyartha. I already had 2 cups. What is the Lakshyartha? I have had 2 cups of coffee. What did you do? I have replaced the whole Vachyartha with something totally different which is not said. But then you connect it to the contextual meaning on which it is asked. You will not consider that he had 2 cups of badam milk and hence he doesn't want coffee. You will not extend it. Are you able to get that? Okay. So Jahat Lakshanam is whenever the mentioned statement or the mentioned meaning of the way it is doesn't fit, it has to get replaced with an implied meaning to the context, which is the befitting one, which need not be explained to people because everyone understands that. Correct? I have 2 children. My eldest son is very intelligent. Jahat Lakshana. Are you referring to the eldest son here? The implied meaning, the younger one is not so intelligent. That is the implied meaning you want to say, correct? Jahat Lakshanam. Nothing to do with the statement, but it has got to do something where there is an implication based on the context which we consider. Is it clear? What is Ajahat Lakshanam? Ajahat Lakshanam is you take the meaning the way it is given, but you know it is incomplete, so you add something to it to make the meaning complete. Whenever there is a statement, you take whatever is given in that, but you know whatever given in that will not completely satisfy the full meaning of what you want to convey. So you take something which has to be added to it to make it complete. Okay. For example, get me water. A person comes and says, get me water. What will you do? Is it clear? The meaning is clear. Get me water. What is your action?
I get a cup of water from him.
You will go.
Cup of water.
What did you add here?
A cup to that.
Which was not there. Because without the cup or without some container, the content cannot be bought. So you keep whatever is told the same way, the meaning is perfectly okay. You add something to make it complete. This is called ajahat lakshana. What is the meaning of jahat? What is not there. I don't take what is there. I discard what is there. What is ajahat? I keep what is there. Now you understand? Jahat, jahi means to discard. I discard it and take what is not mentioned, the implied meaning. In ajahat, I take whatever is there and I complement it with something more to make the meaning complete. Are you able to get this? Now, if we know this jahat and ajahat, can you give examples of jahat and ajahat? In our day-to-day talk, there will be so many examples we'll be using this jahat and ajahat. The moment you start speaking in your regular vyavahara, there will be so many jahat and ajahat. Try one or two examples, any example, try. Then it becomes clear what we are referring to.
Somebody says, let's go do this. We say, no, I just came from work.
No, what is the statement you want to say? Make one statement.
I just came from work.
Okay, I just came from work. Okay. What do you want to convey?
That I'm tired, I don't feel like going out or something.
So the question is what? You have to tell the question first. So there is someone who says, come, let's go for a party.
Do you want to go play badminton?
Okay, let's go and play badminton. You will say, no, I came from work. No, I came from work. So the implied meaning is, no, I do not want to play badminton because I came from work. Right? That is the implied. So this is jahat or ajahat lakshana.
Ajahat.
How?
Jahat.
That is why I know you all will get confused here. That is why I am asking you all to jahat means discard. Lakshyartha. Jahat means lakshyartha. Keep that in mind. Ajahat means vachyartha with some addition.
Okay, ajahat. Yeah.
Here. Okay.
This is jahat.
This is jahat. What is the question asked? A. Bhushan, come, let's play badminton. What is your answer? No, I just came from work. So it is what do you want for that person? What is the meaning he will take? No, Bhushan has just come from work. Hence, he is not coming for playing badminton. He is not coming to play badminton is not at all mentioned here. And he will discard whatever you have told. I came from work and take the implied meaning that I will not come for playing badminton. Which means I am throwing what is given. That is called jahat.
Jahat. Yeah. Okay.
Clear?
Yeah.
Now, any ajahat example?
don't have we don't have everything to make this. It's a technology or something.
What is the question then?
No, no. What is the statement you want to say? You have to put a context first, then you make a statement, and then from that context and the statement, we will see what is Ajahal Lakshana. Just 1 second. थोड़ा खराब है, इधर कट कर दो, कॉर्नर कट कर दो.
चलेगा ना?
स्मेल नहीं ना? You check it. Okay. Cut it and see. Sorry. Yeah.
So I tell my daughter, can you get me? I was reading. Can you get me the book? Can you get me? I was reading that. Can you give it to me? So the implied meaning is, say, a book that I'm reading. She's seen me read that book. Then I tell her, hey, can you give that to me? I was reading it. So she understands she saw me reading that book and she understands that that's what I'm asking for, and she gives me that book.
So which means like you say, hey, give me that. Hey, give me that. Because the context is she knows you were reading this book, she will remove the book and give it to you. So instead of you telling, give me that book, you just mention, give me that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So you have to put the context, then it makes sense. So that book gets added, but whatever is told has been completely still considered. Nothing is thrown out of it, but it has got completed by adding that book.
Yeah.
Or you can say, I want to read news or something.
Then what?
Somebody give paper. Implied meaning, add
No implied meaning will come here.
No,
We are used to implied meaning. That is very common in our life. Here we have to add something to whatever is there. Okay.
So it will be, bring the newspaper. They'll add the newspaper.
What? No. So what is your statement?
I want to read news.
I want to read news. Okay. So it doesn't.
Somebody will get paper.
No, somebody will get paper. This is assumption. Don't take assumption. I want to.
I'm saying somebody means my son or daughter are like we are sitting in a room.
Correct.
The paper on the table and it's closed. And I'll say I want to read news. So they will get me the paper. Right? Is that correct?
All this have got a lot of assumptions you are putting. The sentences have to be clear, like get me water. The cup is already there into it. I mean, you don't have to make a setup for.
Understood. Okay.
Sir, for example, like sometimes father asks them, कि खाना बन गया है? It means he wants food.
That is implied meaning, no? Khana ban gaya has got no answer. Now that is Jahal Lakshanam. That means I am hungry, I want to eat food. Implied meaning हो गया इधर पे.
दिया कर दो, दिया जला, तो then I tell my daughter, दिया कर दो. She knows भगवान के पास तेल डाल के मैच बॉक्स से दिया जलाना है. तो is that अजहत?
No, but there also Bhagavan के पास okay दूसरा किधर भी दिया हो सकता है. These are all like we are making a situation where the sentence by itself does not imply that addition. Don't make the context. See that situation should very clearly tell that okay, I've told 80% of it, 20% should get added by itself. Universal. Samanya it should be no Vishesha. These are all Vishesha examples, specific.
For example, sir, normally we say, somebody is watering outside. So it means some watering the garden.
Hmm. No. Okay.
That is
It can be
Ajahad.
watering anywhere. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
Because unless we get that proper way of understanding Jahat and Ajahat, Jahat Lakshanam implied meanings are many. That's very easily we'll get it. But rather to put it as, how do you make a generalized statement which is becoming very specific? Because that specificity is embedded in that general statement.
So if you meet someone at a train station, a friend, and then you say, I just came from Dadar, then it is clear, right? From
What?
that the friend understands that you took the train to come here.
Why I can come by cab also to the other.
At trains.
No, but that doesn't, see, these are not so specific that you are putting that conditions. It can be anything, right? Like, for example, get me water implies a cup or a vessel or a container or whatever you want to say, that doesn't matter. But there is an implication that without a container, a content cannot be bought and transferred.
Sir, like we say, I'll reach New York by day after tomorrow. So it means that I'll reach New York only by flight.
Could be. Yeah, this is a very common way because people, okay, from India, you just, okay,
Yeah.
I'm leaving India and reaching New York day after tomorrow.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So what does it mean? I'm leaving India and reaching day after tomorrow by flight. No one will imagine that you will go by road or by ship or any other. Yes. So now that very clearly, once you make the sentence properly, it implies that yes, it is sitting in that. Correct. This is Ajahal Lakshana. Okay. One or two more examples of Ajahal so that we start thinking that way now. Because it's evident and सामने है. Satyam vada. What does Satyam vada mean?
Tell the truth.
What does it
Say
mean?
the truth.
What does that mean?
Don't lie.
No,
Don't lie.
that becomes Jahad Lakshanam.
That's implied.
What is Ajahad Lakshanam of the same? At all times speak the truth.
Contacts.
That becomes Ajahad Lakshanam now. For the same, Anritam Avada becomes Jahat Lakshanam. Sarvada Satyam Vada becomes Ajahal Lakshanam.
Ajahal.
Simple. Okay. So, something which is already there, you have to just pull that out and put it together. But in our normal Vyavahara, we normally leave it because we know that gets automatically added.
Yeah, or khana.
Easiest example I will tell you. Anything you want to tell about you, what will you say? Anything. I am fat. What is Jahat Lakshanam of it?
I have gained weight.
My body is bulky. What is Ajahat Lakshanam? I am bodily fat. Because when you say I refers to Sthula Shariram here. Correct? Now the moment I say I am angry, what will you complete it with? I am bodily angry, intellectually angry, mentally angry. I am mentally angry.
Yes.
So there is an implied meaning, anger is associated with mind. Are you getting it? Jal Lakshanam, many will be there. Many. So many implied meanings we normally use. ट्रैफिक आया तो you see traffic and you will just tell someone, आज वाट लग गया. In the morning time when you are going, someone calls you, ऐसा है, अरे आज वाट लगा है. So that person knows traffic है बहुत. That's the implied meaning.
सर इन पेट्रोल स्टेशन में से भी यार पेट्रोल डाल दो.
हाँ.
Means car
गाड़ी में पेट्रोल डाल दो. Correct.
हाँ.
So what do we understand? Jahat Lakshanam is normally with the content, and Ajahat Lakshanam is always with the container. I'm trying to simplify that now in a different way. That which is the subject is always considered in Jahat Lakshanam because that is not mentioned there, and you implicate that inner part, that content part, the subject part is always considered there. But whenever you are talking of container, you complete the necessary requirements of the container in Ajahat Lakshanam. Petrol डाल दो, content is petrol, गाड़ी में, it gets extended. I reached New York. So I reached New York is all content. By flight container आ गया. So the extension is always to the container, external में. Jahat में it is always to the internal. Think. Because here, whenever we are going to use Mahavakyam, Aham Brahma Asmi Tattvamasi, now you have to break Aham into what? The content and container. Brahma is content and container. That means Upadhi Upahita, to go into technical terms. Jahat Lakshanam is related to Upahita, Ajahat Lakshanam is related to Upadhi mainly. थोड़ा समझ में आ रहा है? Getting little heavy now. Which seemed to be very simple in the start. When you start going technical, starts becoming little heavy now. Why we need to do that? Because now we are going to bring the third concept, which is called Jahat Ajahat Lakshanam. This itself is enough. That is why I said I want some time to really get it clearly the way I want to make you all understand. Even I may have a fair idea about it last time also, but I was not prepared how to bring it and transfer it to you all. If you ask a question, I'll have to keep thinking. No. Hence, I took a time out. The third part is, in certain situation, the Jahat also does not apply completely. The Ajahat also does not apply completely. I need to take portion of the Jahat and I need to take the portion of the Ajahat, and then only that particular statement becomes meaningful. Okay, let us take an example. Soyam Devadattaha, the standard Sanskrit examples in Nyaya. That is Devadatta. Saha Ayam Devadattaha. That is, our Devadatta. So, two friends have met. Our college reunion, school reunion, समझ लो, दो लोग, they have already met, they have come early and they are talking. Suddenly another friend of theirs come. Hey, see this guy. Is the first reaction. What are you? That is Soyam Devadatta. Let's consider that person's name is Devadatta. Hey, see, our Devadatta has come. What is the actual meaning of this? The actual meaning is that Devadatta who was with us during our school days, the same Devadatta has come here. Yes or no? can you apply Jahat Lakshanam to this? And can you apply Ajahat Lakshanam to this? Let us find out. This.
Hey, this is Datta. Hey, this is our childhood friend Devadatta.
No. That all need not be, that explanation. See, everyone have understood the meaning. There is, you don't have to even, hey, this is our Devadatta. The moment you have told, everyone have clearly understood. So there is no explanation at all required to both the parties, including to Devadatta. They also understood it. But what have we actually gone through in this process is what we are now looking at. Who was that Devadatta? That Devadatta was a very young Devadatta, probably very thin Devadatta, probably without any mustache and beard Devadatta, probably with the dark hair Devadatta, having hair Devadatta. And this Devadatta who is in front of me is bulky, baldy, with some mustache or beard. So what did you do? That container of Devadatta and the content called individual of that Devadatta you separated. This container of this Devadatta and the content called Devadatta you separated. You negated both the containers and you just equated both the contents. समझ में आ रहा है? This is what we actually did. Because if you say that is this Devadatta, all the conditions of that and this should have also met properly. But I made an assumption and I conveniently discarded what I don't want and conveniently kept only a portion of it, and still I could communicate, and the other person also did the same thing. Okay. Had this person drastically changed it, oh my God, वो तो तभी ऐसा था, अभी देखो कैसा हो गया. All this would have started. Why? That person is now mixing up the container also with the content. Are you able to get this? Now, if you apply Jahat Lakshanam to that Devadatta and this Devadatta, you have to discard that container and the content, this container and the content, and have some other meaning to it. So Jahat Lakshanam cannot apply to this. Why? You have kept the content the same and you have discarded the container alone. क्या हुआ? Why is it getting tough?
So, but isn't that implied though, Guruji? But I thought it
What
was-
implied? Okay, what is the implied meaning? That individual called Devadatta, apart from his upadhi, what he was looking at that time, is the same individual here, not considering this upadhi which is present here and now. Ah, this is Nyaya. Now you understand why that you need lawyers to fight it this way. So what did I do? I did Bhaga, Devadatta individual, Devadatta's upadhi to what I remember, this Devadatta as individual, and the upadhi as what I see now. I am only discarding the upadhi and keeping the upahita. Correct? Very simple to know. Now look at it from Jahat and Ajahat Lakshanam. This is Bhagatyaga. Bhagatyaga is Jahat Ajahat Lakshanam. If I apply Jahat Lakshanam, it is discarding everything because it has an implied meaning, correct? I had 2 cups. I discard the whole thing and I say I had coffee and hence I don't want coffee. if I discard everything of that Devadatta and of this Devadatta, I am also removing that individuality which is the same and throwing it. And now I have to replace with something else which will have still the same meaning, which is not possible. And hence Jahat Lakshanam cannot satisfy this. Are you able to get this? Logically I am trying to tell this. You all have already jumped to the third step. I am bringing you back to the first step. How Jahat Lakshanam will not work. Will Ajahat Lakshanam work? In Ajahat Lakshanam, I have to add something. So I know there is a container and content. There is a container and content here. This is complete, that is complete. By partial Jahat Lakshanam, I discard the content and keep the content. I discard the container and keep the content. In Ajahat Lakshanam also, what I will have to do? I will have to discard the container and keep the content. Suppose you say, the person says, "No, yaar, I am not able to." You say, "Hey, don't you remember that guy who was like this?" So now you will connect through a container which connects to the person, and then you will discard the container and say, "Ha, wahi banda hai ye." Bring the content back. Are you getting it?
So characteristics हो गया कि we have to add characteristics to the.
हाँ
We have to add characteristics to the person ajahat
हाँ
container. Okay. उपाधि ऐड करनी पड़ेगी.
हाँ, तो उपाधि आप इधर ऐड नहीं कर पाओगे बोल रहा हूं, क्योंकि ऑलरेडी उपाधि है. इफ यू गो बाय द उपाधि, सी इन Jahat Lakshanam, even the individual will go. In Ajahat Lakshanam, you have the individual and the container together. There is no place to add something else here. And then the Ajahat Lakshanam will not work. Okay. Maybe you will have to. Okay. How do I give you another example? I'll take you through simple examples. Wait. In Jahat Lakshanam and Ajahat Lakshanam.
So what the example of Jahat Lakshanam?
Huh?
Yeah, so this is the example of Jahat. Okay, where both.
Yeah, where both are there. This is the only way you can look at it. So I am now going to give you Jahat Ajahat Lakshanam with explanation why it will not work. Wait, I'll give you simple example. You have wave, water and ocean. Okay. Wave, water and water is ocean and wave is an example. What is ocean? Ocean is a mixture of name and form of water. Okay. What is an ocean? Ocean is a big name for collection of water with that form. Is an ocean. Yes or no?
Big water body.
Correct.
Big point, yeah.
Correct. What is a drop? It is the same ocean of water in a miniature form.
Right.
Correct? So, can I call a drop a miniature form of an ocean?
Like very small.
Correct. Very small.
Yeah.
Okay. Right? Now, what is a wave? A wave is multiple drops in a particular form of water. right? So if you drop, the drop is Jahat Lakshana of water and ocean, and you retain everything, but you just add a bigger mass. That is why Ajahat Lakshana will also fit here. A drop, a wave, and an ocean, when you look at these, every water is a drop, or every drop is essentially water. Correct? Every ocean or every wave is essentially water. So the content remaining the same, water, the container or the size is different now for all the three. What is Jahat Lakshana? A drop is a wave. So when you say water is ocean and water is a drop and water is a wave, the drop cannot become the ocean. Because you say boon boon se sagar banti hai na, so drop cannot be the ocean. So Jahat Lakshana will get applied.
Sorry, so statement here, what is the statement here? Wave is multiple.
No, water, okay, ocean and wave is essentially water. Either as drop, multiples of drop, and that is what makes the wave and the ocean. Okay, ocean is just, when you drop this wave part, you take the ocean and you drop these waves, what remains? Water. And that is Ajahat Lakshana. Because you either add something, you drop something, and that's how you get the whole stuff. But Jahat Lakshana, if you compare the size, the ability and all, it becomes different. There is an implied meaning. That means you will have to remove the whole form and say it is essentially water and nothing else. Okay, wait, let me give you, because this is the toughest one when you look at Jahat and Ajahat Lakshana. How does it fit? Wait, let me give you first example. We use Ajahat Lakshana. Okay. Because finally we have to come to Jahat Ajahat Lakshana, then only we will be able to work on the Mahavakyam. See, take the first two examples. I had 2 cups. Jahat Lakshana will not, the Vachyartha will not work. Okay, so you are going to Lakshyartha. Be with me, are you clear? I had 2 cups. The moment I make this statement, the only 2 statements which we are going to make, and we are revising of what has implied there. I had 2 cups. The implied meaning is I had 2 cups of coffee or whatever. Okay. So Jahat Lakshana alone will work. Lakshyartha will work. Vachyartha or Ajahat Lakshana will not work. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Bring some water. Ajahat Lakshana alone will work because you need to add a cup here. And it is only Vachyartha, there is no Lakshyartha in this. Jahat Lakshana will not work. Is this clear? These 2 examples, only one of the Lakshanas are working. You can't apply both. Is this clear? Okay.
Yes.
Now come to the third one. Jahat Ajahat Lakshana. Okay. Part of the primary meaning is dropped and part of the primary meaning is not dropped. Primary meaning dropped is Jahat Lakshana. Primary meaning not dropped is Ajahat Lakshana. Is it clear? Are you with me? I can't hear anything. I'm not seeing you all.
Oh, you're not seeing us, Guruji?
No, I'm not seeing you all. I'm seeing something else and telling you all. So I'm going step by step.
Okay, got it, understood.
Yeah?
Yeah, understood. So the for Jahat, Ajahat, Lakshan, part of the primary meaning is get,
And part is dropped.
and yeah,
So part is dropped, Jahat Lakshana. Part is not dropped, Ajahat Lakshana. Okay?
yes,
If you don't have to add something, don't add. That doesn't matter. But not being dropped is the important part in Ajahat Lakshana. And being dropped is the important part in Jahat Lakshana.
right.
Okay. So, now if you see water is ocean, water is wave, we will have to use the third Jahat Ajahat Lakshana. Okay. What is ocean? It has got a form and a size. Correct? Size itself is a form. So, name and form is a part of the ocean. And name and water is the part of the wave.
Yeah.
So now you have to draw the name and form of the ocean, and you have to drop name and form of the wave. So which means you are dropping it is called what Lakshana?
Ajahat.
Ajahat. Huh?
Sorry, Jahat.
Ah.
Yeah, Jahat. That is keeping it, yes.
Yes. Now you are going to
Jahat.
keep some primary thing into it. If you have dropped the name and form, what have you kept in? Water plus name and form equal to wave. Water plus name and form is equal to ocean. Yes or no?
Yes.
Correct? So if I
Yes.
keep the essential water part and drop this name and form, it becomes Jahat.
Mm.
But by principle, Jahat means you are dropping the primary meaning also, which means even the water will have to be dropped. So I can't use the full Jahat. I will have to keep the primary meaning water and drop only part of it.
What does that mean, Guruji?
Ocean equal to wave when I say. If I say ocean equal to wave, what am I doing? I am keeping a part of it, which is the essential part, which is water in both, and I am dropping the name and form in both.
Right.
Correct? So when I am
Yes.
keeping principally when I am keeping something, it becomes Ajahat Lakshana, where I am keeping that, and the dropping part becomes Jahat Lakshana.
Right.
Jahat is the dropping part, which is the container. Ajahat is the keeping part, which is the content.
The water.
That is why I have to use both of this. If I use Jahat Lakshana, I'll have to throw the water part also. That means ocean and wave both will go off completely, because the water is the common part in both. I can't drop that. If I drop that, this statement doesn't have meaning. So I can't even apply that. I can neither keep the form, because keeping the form is not the implied meaning. The actual meaning is the water here, which is the primary meaning. See, that is why we say Vyavaharika Tattva and Paramarthika Tattva. The Paramarthika Tattva is the water.
Right.
It is essentially present.
But still it should be Jahat, if primary.
Right. That's what even I was thinking. If you are keeping something and discarding the content, then isn't it just Jahat?
Which one?
Not a Jahat?
No. 1 minute. 1 minute. Container content is just told as a basic example there. Here we are going to refer only the content. The container will have to be dropped, and then only the Mahavakyams and these things will work. That when I Oh, primary and secondary, I should put it there. Not container and content. Okay. Primary stuff and the secondary stuff. Secondary is hygiene factor which gets added to the primary. That the primary itself is changing in Jahat. Are you getting a bit confused now? In Jahat, when I said focus on the content and keep the container away, focus on the primary meaning is what is considered, and the secondary and the ancillaries are not considered. In Ajahat, the primary is kept intact. You only are working with the ancillary to make that meaning complete. When I say give me water, the water still remains the content here. I had 2 cups of water. The water is only the content in both. Are you able to get that?
Sir, it means RM आपने drop कर दिया. Ocean is equal to wave. We
That-
kept only the.
Okay, if I in that format, if you want, I will have to put it Jahat Lakshana. I will have to drop OC and RM. If I apply Jahat Lakshana, I have to drop both, and then a third meaning will come out. And I cannot do for Mahavakya because it is not single entity, it is made up of 2. In Mahavakya, what is happening? In any Mahavakya or in something where, for example, we referred now, that Devadatta is this Devadatta. It's a Mahavakya. The same that is here. It's a Mahavakya only, nothing else. What did we do? That Devadatta is equal to OC Devadatta and RM Panchakosha at that time. And this Devadatta is OC Devadatta and the current RM here. If I apply Jagat Lakshana, I have to drop OC, small RM, capital RM and get something new. If I have to apply fully Jagat Lakshana. So for something which is a combination, I can never apply fully Jagat Lakshana. I am using partially Jagat Lakshana where I am dropping the container or that RM part in both. Because I need to hold to the content which is the OC part. So partial Jagat Lakshana is being worked on. Okay. In Ajahat Lakshana, what I am doing? That Devadatta is this Devadatta. When you say, we will say, don't look at only that, remember that figure Devadatta and this figure Devadatta. That individual, the sentient Devadatta is what we are referring to. That is getting added to here. Here also it is made up of 2. नहीं समझ में आ रहा है. It is a view. How, what are you referring to? क्योंकि जहत लक्षणा में you will have to discard everything. Ajahat Lakshana mein you will have to add something. Jahat Lakshana, if I discard everything, even the OC is getting discarded. In Ajahat Lakshana, I keep all the RM, I keep the OC, and if I add the RM to it, the equation will not fit. That is what is the current status. So what I have to do? I have to drop something in Jahat Lakshana. I have to drop something in Ajahat Lakshana, and that is how these two will fit together. ये बीच का तोड़पा नहीं है ये. It is nothing but Bhagat Tyaga what you are doing. Actually the final answer everyone knows. But to justify it in the court of law, it becomes very difficult. Because we are not tuned ourselves to see that situation as through Jagat, through Ajahat. We have already jumped to the third stage. We say it is already there. Now what is there to prove? Are it is not there. You have already made your mind, tuned yourself to cut it and see it that way. Here we are talking of the process of what is getting cut in Jagat. Everything will go no use. In ajahat, if I add the container to only the OC, still the original statement will not make meaning in Vachyartha. In ajahat lakshana, you are going by Vachyartha. Then you will say that guy was thin and fat. How are you calling this guy as the same guy? Because now you are adding the RM to that individuality in ajahat lakshana. Bolo.
Why is it important for us to understand it this way, Guruji? Like, why should we understand it this way, the Nyaya way? Why is it important for us?
Because it is not just enough that we know it, we should be able to communicate exactly how we know it. Because if logically you have not understood it, it is someone who has brainwashed you. So if you are able to logically answer this rationally with proper logics, you deduce it. Hence, as we say in mathematics, LHS equal to RHS. Then perfect. Without any flaw, you are able to do it. Other way around, I will tell you why I will tell you this. The same, there is one, I'll give you one example. Let me get that right. Let me start. Chandogya Upanishad says, Saya Eshodi Mataidatmyamidam Sarvam Tat Satyam Sa Atma Tattvamasi Shveta Keto Iti Bhuya Evama. Can we take it only up to that? Sa Atma Tattvamasi Shveta Keto is the word. Okay. The Dvaitins break the statement and interpret it as Sa Atma Atattvam Asi Iti Shvetaketu. Now by grammar you cannot say you are wrong. So for them there is no Mahavakya. Sa Atma Atattvam Asi. Your Atma is not Brahman. He is proving it from the same Chandogya. And you are saying Sa Atma Tattvamasi Shvetaketu. Now you are breaking it differently. He will use Ajahal Lakshanam to prove he is right. You can't use Jahal Lakshanam and Ajahal Lakshanam to prove yourself individually that you are right. You will have to use both of these for this breakup. Now we are getting the reason why things will. So as far as you know it, it is clear. When someone changes it, you will not know how to defend it.
So that is the Advaita Vedanta. So Advaita Vedanta, that's the difference against Dvaitam.
Not only that, even with Nyaya.
Ajahat Lakshanam is the way you would prove it to the.
Even with Nyaya,
that's
na?
how it is.
Even Nyaya.
Logically.
Even with for Nyaya it is required, na? Why only for Dvaitins? What did we say? Lakshana Pramana Bhyam Vastu Siddhi. Without a Lakshana, I cannot prove that Tattvam Asi. I have to use Jal Ajahal Nyaya to it. Prove it. Otherwise it cannot be proved. You apply Jahal logic, Lakshyartha, it won't work. You apply Ajahal Vachyartha, it will not work. Which means I have to use partial Jahal. So, which I am taking only the essential part. And Ajahal, I'm dropping the non-essential part, and then only the statement Tattvamasi will work. That is why we say this Devadatta is that Devadatta. So this refers to time and form of Devadatta. That refers to that time and that form of Devadatta, and we are conveniently disregarding that this and that time and form and only taking that essential Devadatta together. That is why you have to apply Jahal and Ajahal together, and that becomes the Nyaya. In any case, if this is too difficult, don't worry. Bhagatyaga is Jahal Ajahal. Aren't we doing Bhagatyaga? Separating into Nitya Vastu, Anitya Vastu, separating this into Nitya Vastu, Anitya Vastu. Then we say that Nitya Vastu and Anitya Vastu cannot be equated because Nitya is higher than the Anitya. That is Paramarthika, this is Vyavaharika. Anitya Vastu keeps on changing. It is independent, it is dependent on Nitya Vastu. So I can easily devalue the Anitya Vastu. Then what remains? Nitya Vastu where both are same. That is Jahal, Ajahal, Lakshana. I told her, you know what to do. But technically how to sit like a lawyer and prove it in the court is the issue here. Because you can't do it, if someone challenges, how can you tell with the Nyaya part, you will get stuck. And that is why, because if you see the series of shlokas, he is first talking of very logic, first basic stuff, then he brings it in a logical way to the next one. And then he says that is why essentially a Raja and Bhritya, a wave and water, gold and ornament are essentially the same. Because now he applies Jal, Ajahal, and then he clarifies in the next shloka which we got stuck with these very specific lakshanas. He says, hence Jahal cannot be applied, Ajahal cannot be applied completely, both you have to apply partially. That is why this can only fit in Jahal, Ajahal, Nyaya. That is all he said in the next shloka, which we will see it in the next class. And next class will not be on next Saturday. Because next Saturday I will be coming back from Pali, I don't know at what time. So we will have subsequent Saturday the next class. That time we have this basic, sit and think. If you understand, it's okay. If you don't understand, don't worry. But at least you know, which at least these terminologies are known. Chalega. You don't need to know this to know Vedanta. Vedanta is much simpler. But if you want to prove this Vedanta to someone, then you need all these ammunitions. Okay. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. The more we go to Mananam, many of these things will start coming. How to prove it? How to prove it? Proof. Because then only it is Mananam. Whichever way I go, I know I can prove it.